Fuego Pizza presents SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Purelator Day.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Curtain Up Day on the YouTube channel, and it's a nice sunny-ish day here in Toronto, so listen.
So I guess we've started the show.
We have started the show.
I didn't know that.
Steve wanted to, before we get to who wore the crown, which I know for Jesse's going to be a slam dunk today.
You'd be surprised.
I might be.
I don't know.
I might be. I've been surprised by some other stuff you told me based on the internet today. And you can look this up yourself. We won't get into it. But we walked into the studio, and Jesse's like, guys, did you hear the big news? And we were like, no, Jesse, we hadn't. And he's like, guys, T.I. said something. And then we looked up what T.I. said, and we're flabbergasted and horrified.
I had no notes. I was just...
You have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. What can you say?
It's 2019, and I live on the internet. I've seen some dark shit.
Mm-hmm. That was...
And Adam and I just both dead in our tracks.
I'm trying to think about the last time I was just like, whoa, at something on the internet.
It takes a lot.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And that was one thing today where I was just, I just had to stop.
Thing. Not only, A, brain thinks it's normal, B, thinks it's normal enough to blurt out on an interview.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Like, wow.
Anyway.
And
Man,
for those of you who are curious...
Look it up yourself.
We're not doing a deep dive on that today.
Not today, Satan.
What were you going to say about the opening of the show? You have something to say about YTV?
Yeah, I wanted to start a little more wholesome.
Okay. This is a bit of a hard turn, but we can make it.
It's that meme where the guy's
going off the highway. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, listen, man. When I was on BT, we used to have to go from murders to entertainment stories. So you know, it's
like, celebrities are just like us.
Stabbing at a party last night, and Ben Affleck.
What's he up to with his hair gel?
You know what I mean?
Right?
It's like, ooh.
I got some tweets from Nigel. Nigel said, in your last podcast, you mentioned Phil from YTV.
Yes.
And it reminded me of my one and only interaction with him. Around 15 years ago, I was reffing House League hockey, and I recognized one of the coaches. It was an older, fatherly Phil. Now, at the best of times, I wasn't a very good ref. And at the worst of times, I was probably responsible for some very upset parents. That morning was not the best of times, so I messed up a call. It might have been a penalty or an offside, I don't remember. Regardless, the screw-up negatively impacted Phil's kids' team.
Uh-oh.
And I will never, ever forget the look of disappointment in his face. A man that had shared the small screen with the TV covered up in purple spray-painted insulation foam, a childhood icon. But Phil was cool as always. He talked to me. I forget what he said, but he didn't make me feel any worse than I already did for letting him down. Aww. The moral of the story is that sometimes meeting your heroes is okay, and reffing is hard, so give the zebras a break.
True. Okay.
Phil from YTV
like that story.
Is a coach.
By the way,
hockey coach.
YTV is youth television in Canada, but it's like Nickelodeon. So the youth television part, I don't know why they called it that, but they just shortened it to YTV, and it was really cool. And they had like all these games you used to get slimed and stuff, which was wicked.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you didn't grow up here, you don't know. But just to context it for our American listeners, and there are many of you. We have many.
Several. That are pissed about the Boston Bruins delete, Pittsburgh Penguins delete, Dixie Flat delete, Nashville Predators Winter Classic jerseys. They are pissed about my opinions on that.
You know what's really upset? You know, it must be so
Adam,
upsetting.
I didn't read the press release. And I'm a piece of shit!
Hey, guys.
And sometimes I forget.
How dare we not know about the league that folded 50 years ago and the team that folded 52 years ago?
How long did you say they were in existence for?
10 years.
From
the early 60s to the early 70s.
That's
and the league folded like a year later. The EHL, folks.
Upon learning about the Dixie Flyers, I did some reading. It wasn't about them, but I did some. Listen, I don't like how it looks. Don't bully me into thinking the jersey looks nice.
Why not just
I don't think it does.
Why didn't they put Dixie Flyers on the front?
That would have made it so much better.
Then I would have been like, oh, cool,
Right.
history. I'll deep dive.
Sure. And that'll distract me from the Dallas Stars and their, hey, that jersey's not bad. The gloves!
I don't mind the Dallas Stars jersey at all. I think it's kind of
The
cool.
brown gloves, Adam. The baseball glove.
The Leafs did that with the St.
colored
Pat's
gloves.
thing.
Yeah.
The Dallas St. Pats. Why don't they just be the green Dixie Flyers against the
Steve,
black and yellow
don't
Dixie
you know
Flyers?
that brown leather is from a certain part of Texas? It was in the press release.
And it's made of pig skin because hockey gloves are made of leftover footballs from the whatever football team. I think it looks silly. I'm sorry. With your cursive. Stop. You noticed they didn't put Dallas Stars. They made an attempt at a logo.
Well, because it was a Texas Stars thing.
Yeah.
That was the...
Well, and
was
the
based on-
Nashville jersey, they got the cool saber-toothed tiger on the shoulder.
They
and I'm
should've put it on the front.
Switcheroo! Stop it!
You want to deep dive into Nashville's history? Deep dive into the saber-toothed tiger part.
Right.
Lean on that. Not the you guys didn't go to the hockey games team.
The Dixie Flyers.
Come on.
Just have a Flyers logo.
I don't listen. If there is one person that listens to the show that ever saw the Dixie Flyers live, I will stand corrected.
If that
But
person,
I highly doubt it.
you know that person is going to tweet you.
I doubt it. I doubt it
I don't
highly.
want to be a jerk to that person who's clearly hardcore enough to tweet us all that. But
if anybody who tweeted us that saw the Dixie Flyers actually play,
I would love, yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd love to know.
That person
I'd
is
love
out
to know
there.
what it was like. You
I
think so?
guarantee it.
Do you think they listen to this show though? I'm sure they're out there. I mean, that's it. You got to think
Maybe.
that the team folded in the early 70s, which is 50 years ago, folks. Okay, and so you got 46 years ago.
1962.
No, folded in 72.
Folded. Good run.
So
Sorry.
well, the league folded in 74.
You know what? 10 years back then was actually quite a good run.
Yeah, it was for
Yeah.
I mean the way that hockey was coming and going. So the person would have to be at least, I don't know, when do you start really remembering things? 5, 6 years old?
60.
So you got to be in your 50s or 60s to
50s,
even
50s, 60s.
I'd love to know. I'd love to know.
And
Hey,
then I get to go, okay, boomer. And then I get to dismiss all of your opinions and stories because of a meme. Sorry.
Hey, by the way, I was sent a link to somebody who was like, "This is for all your William Nylander hate."
Yeah. Yeah, you deserve it.
Do you believe the amount of stuff I got? I'm like, okay, defends William Nylander for 3 years. Criticizes him once.
You guys, we'll just wait till we get to the crown.
Oh, yeah.
There's a reason. You guys deserve that. hate.
Yeah, maybe we do.
You know-
maybe we do. Hold on, the guy was really nice though. I'm just giving him a hard time.
Whenever I get called an idiot,
Oh man, I can't even.
I
find
enter
his,
the
why can't I
conversation
find his-
assuming that person's right. And I find I live a happier life that way. You know?
Let's do who wore the
Adam?
crown, shall we? Shall
do
we?
it.
Why not pour yourself in a friend of Crown
Why
Royal?
not?
Why not sit next to the fire with a Crown Royal and listen up to who wore the crown?
Do you have a real fireplace?
Do I have a real fireplace?
Yeah.
No, I do not. I'm sure at one point my house is old enough to have had a smokestack at one point.
I was wondering.
But it was renovated in the 80s by some people, and I think the smokestacks went away.
Man,
Steven?
a bunch of those words made me fall asleep.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
So much exposed brick back then. Anyway.
Do you have a real fireplace, Steven?
No, God, no.
No? Okay.
No.
No.
Would you trust me with
Do
that?
you, Jesse? in
No,
Liberty
I don't.
Village?
No.
Okay, listen, this is where we, with the help of you, recognize a Leaf player each show who gives it all for the blue and white. You know the saying. Live generously, life will treat you royally. It's brought to you by your friends at Crown Royal. Who wore the crown for this Leafs team yesterday evening against the Kings, starting with Steve Dangle?
I know who I'll give it to because I think it may be the last time I get to give this person the crown. I'm going to give it to Nick Patan.
Why?
Dude, the guy gets sent to the minors. A lot of people didn't even... When he got called up, they're like, he was sent down? I had no idea. 5 points in 2 games. They call him up, and they're like, we're going to put him in the lineup. And I'm like, that's cool, good for him. And then they go, we're going to put him with John Tavares and Mitch Marner. And everyone said, what?
Why did they do that?
You know what?
I know they're showcasing him, but why are they doing that?
He looked good. He looked good. His possession was high. He set up Mitch Marner for a scoring chance. He was speedy. And he did a couple Nick Patan things. That weird swat at the puck that was 20 feet above his head. I didn't understand that. But, like, he's a good hockey player. And I don't think he'll ever be a fourth liner in the NHL. But they're like, okay, we'll give you a shot on the first/second line.
With a guy who can't grip his stick properly.
With a guy who can't. Oh, and poor Johnny. The Leafs, everyone was mad at the Leafs for not winning by more than 3-1. They came. We'll get into it. Nick Patan had a great performance. It sounds like he's probably going to get traded. And I hope he has success wherever he goes. And more importantly, that the Leafs get a good return for him.
Right, because...
Got to give it to Nick Patan.
I'm going to go with Alexander Kerfoot.
You are correct.
Alexander Kerfoot took a crummy penalty in the second period.
And correctly, after the game, talked about how he takes too many damn penalties.
He owns
Yell at me now!
I don't think there's any Alexander Kerfoot defenders out there mad at you.
No, like, remember I was like, he takes too many penalties, and no. No.
But he does. He does.
He does!
Listen, anything over 10 penalty minutes for a season for Alexander Kerfoot is too many penalties.
Yeah!
It is. It's
too many.
The guy's a finesse guy. What's he taking penalties for?
Well, he's taking a penalty every 2 games. That's too many penalties.
That's what I'm saying. So he took the penalty, but he had a great sort of steal in the neutral zone, just above where the Kings exited. And he should use his speed, and he did. Came in, blew past the guys, and scored, and it was great. And that's the kind of thing. That's how you correct a mistake, like taking a penalty and being scored against. Alexander Kerfoot gets my crown this week, or at least this episode, because that's the kind of stuff we need to see out of him. And you know what? He's been one of the most consistent Leafs. And of the guys coming over in the Kadri trade, he's been the better player in his role.
Shockingly. And from as tradition, Kerfoot has just 1 fewer point than Kadri thus far this season, and the same amount of goals in a reduced role. Average time on ice, Kadri 17:28, Kerfoot 14:51. Now, that's partly Kerfoot's fault because he's always in the box, but...
That's not a bad throw-in, though.
Not a bad throw-in.
Because he really was.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll get Barry and Kerfoot.
Barry's the concern, but we'll get to him later.
Yeah. Jesse.
Jesse. Where's he going to go with this one?
What's
you
he
never
gonna
know.
do?
We now throw to the wild card.
It's November 6th, but it feels like Christmas is today. It feels like December 25th today.
Does it?
It does.
Wow.
Because you have to give me some time here. I have to shout out a lot of people.
Wow.
Gina, Sean, Kit, Chloe, Emma, Daniel, Danny, Todd, Al, Devin, Jeff, Chris, Steven, Mike, Michael, and a lot more people who are slowly building this Nylander Navy. It's
Nylander Navy?
It's not the Dangle Navy.
Navelander.
It's the we might call it Navelander.
Navy-lander.
Navy-lander.
Nave ho. You know how they say land ho?
No.
No, can't call it Nave ho. I guess in a wrong. Yeah, that'd be the wrong message to send. Anyway, continue.
We suck. Why do
I gotta first I gotta crown all those people who are slowly forming this little squad that are giving Nylander the crown along with me every single game on the Instagram or on the Twitter. They also tagged me in one special tweet from Mr. Mark Masters.
Wow. Friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It says, William Nylander gets the Leafs game ball tonight. Wow.
Deserved.
Who handed out that game ball to him?
Who?
You guys tell me.
Who?
You
Isn't
guys-
that the last person that got the game ball hands it to him, or is it the coach?
I thought so.
I thought so too.
Who gave it to him?
Was it Mike Babcock there? He said, Willie, I know I benched you last game, but I tell you what, here's a game ball.
I hope William Nylander took that game ball and dunked on Mike Babcock.
Yeah. Literally
come
just
on!
We were
brained him
asking
with it.
last episode, is that the type of thing that's going to motivate William Nylander?
No!
Boy, it sure looks like it. Listen,
no.
I know that's a false narrative, I know. But you know that's what people are going to say.
I
right?
was very confused. I was looking at the possession numbers from last game. Janssen was underwhelming. Matthews was underwhelming. Nylander was like one of the top guys. And I don't know how to explain that one on account of they're on the same line.
I got to read some headlines to you as well.
Oh,
I told you I
ready.
would need time with this.
Oh, my goodness. Take your time there, Jesse Blake.
Headline: William Nylander back in Mike Babcock's bad books. Leafs forward William Nylander expected the offense to come this season, but he's still waiting. William Nylander, hot start, a bright spot for the Leafs. Hungry Nylander takes his game to the next level. What is this roller coaster with William Nylander? Why can't, 1, his head coach, 2, the media, accept that he's just having a decent season and none of this is either going to motivate him or demotivate him. He just is what he is right now. He's playing to the best of his abilities. And it's evidenced by his great game last night and maybe the mistakes he made in the previous game.
And you could argue that he's due for an uptick in goals because his shooting percentage is only about 10%.
For as well as he's been playing all season long, that was his first multi-point game.
Was it?
That's crazy.
Can you believe that? Like, that's shocking.
crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Man, he struggled. He is like put the puck in the back of the net.
Yes.
I should say.
Well, it doesn't help that he fires it over the net, out of the arena. Like
we're
Barry
not gonna
Bonds.
talk about
We'll
it.
talk about that after. We'll talk about that because I have some thoughts on that too.
I would just like to get out the extra large crown we have hidden in the back.
The Trey Croner.
The Trey Croner. The one with the 3 heads on it.
3 crowns.
And plant it on the head of William Nylander today because he deserves it.
The gorgeous blonde head.
Gorgeous blonde hair. I hope it's in cornrows tonight.
Yes, while he's eating prosciutto.
Yes. Anyways,
What a weird team.
that is my crown for today, Adam Wild.
I'm looking up what the 3 crowns actually mean
Oh.
for Sweden.
I hope it's something good on account of that's the LFR title.
Present in the coat of arms of Sweden, obviously. And they say that it was the union of Magnus Eriksson, who is definitely an NHL player. Some probably played for Calgary in the
Magnus
in the
Eriksson was for sure a 5th round.
Yeah,
pick,
no, but he actually
Probably played for Dallas a couple years.
Yeah.
Magnus used the symbols frequently because he was the king of Scania, Norway, and Sweden, and I think Scania is the short form for Scandinavia.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
So that's where the 3 crowns come from.
Right.
From Magnus Eriksson, hockey player, but also 13th century Swedish king.
Right.
It's funny how like Swedish names have not changed in like 1,000 years.
Magnus Eriksson.
Like that is a name that he played for Sweden in the Olympics. He's in the SHL right now.
And like names here have changed over the last like 50 years. You ever met a Cornelius?
No, I haven't.
I haven't.
In 5 years, you're going to meet a lot of Cadens.
Oh,
You know,
my God.
every kid walking the streets is going to be Caden.
But none of them will be spelled the same.
Nope.
None of them will be spelled the same.
V.
That's who wore the crown for this week. Brought to you as always by Crown Royal. The next time the puck drops, why not live generously?
Why not?
And treat your Leafs crew to a Crown Royal Old Fashioned. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not enjoy a win?
Now, why
For a
not? Well,
change.
first off, why not enjoy Drew Doughty's pregame comments that
No.
he walked back? Yeah, you see, here's the thing. Drew Doughty made all these comments, and they're like, hey, post the, and I think this is a good point. A lot of people are saying, when you have an incendiary clip from an NHL player or any player,
Right.
post the question with it. What was the
Sure.
actual question asked? And essentially the question for Drew Doughty was more along the lines of, what does it take to win the Stanley Cup?
Right.
But it was in the context of his next opponent.
Yeah.
But he said that we, the media, took it out of context. He couldn't have been talking about Toronto the way Alexander Ovechkin was. Couldn't have.
No.
He was just talking in general terms.
And wasn't he referring to Ovechkin's comments?
That's what I understand.
It
Which were
seems
about the
like-
Leafs.
This seems like the 3rd time this has happened. I think it was Marchand and then Ovi and then now Doughty. They keep asking them questions about the Leafs and like what it takes for them to win, which seems like such bait for them to get a clip that'll everybody's going to be like, oh, this player said this
By
about
the
the
way,
Leafs. But
Marchand is taking that bait.
right, and he did. And then
Hey, can you
Ovi
ask
did
me
it.
about
I hear Travis Dermott's up. Let me get him some money.
Oh, yeah.
Marchand's yelling at the fisherman? Put like crickets. Like crickets.
So Marner's going to win the Hart? Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
12 mil. Blub blub.
Anyways, it
sorry.
seems like they're going to these scrums now with any big high-profile teams that are coming to town, ask them these questions.
So here's the thing. Everybody's criticizing the reporters for asking these questions. But if you are a reporter for the Leafs, your job is to report on the Leafs. And getting another team's opinion on the Leafs is sort of your job too. So people are like, oh, why is the media asking them? Because it's a great clip. And you know what? It does matter. And guess who they've asked? 2 Stanley Cup champions in a row. And if you want to count Brad Marchand, there's a third.
It's always the me.
And then people are pissed off that Mike Babcock said about Alexander Ovechkin's comments, well, he's lived it.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he wrong? Listen, you can disagree with Mike Babcock about that, but is Mike Babcock supposed to say, you know what? Alexander Ovechkin's wrong. Full of shit. Who is this guy?
Babcock
Student of the
did-
game.
What? Yeah. Babcock went back at Ovechkin. No, all he did was say what Ovechkin said, but without the Russian accent.
Yeah.
That's it.
But people were upset that Babcock agreed with him.
There was no lie.
right.
Yeah. There was no lie in what either of them said.
No.
This fan base, I think everyone's just mad right now.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
we all need to sort out our emotions and figure out why we're mad. Because after last night, everyone seemed mad for completely different reasons. And I'm like, but they won.
They did win.
They won.
They beat Drew Doughty.
They beat Drew Doughty and he was weighed down by that full diaper. Sorry, I'm feeling feisty. My team's won 2 straight.
Who shots is that? Who
I
are
don't
taking shots at?
Drew Doughty in his full diaper.
He came on this show,
Yeah.
and he was very nice to you.
Well,
Adam can take
he's
shots.
gone now,
I
isn't
was
he?
not here.
Adam was not there.
I could still take shots from afar. To me, he's still a stranger.
Exactly.
He's not even a human. Am I right? That's all right.
He's just a rich guy. He gets to play sports.
Yeah, rich sportsman. No, here's the thing. I don't mind hearing what other teams have to say about the Leafs. I
Sure.
kind of think it's cool.
Yeah.
No,
And
I was mad when he was like, well, then I'm just not going to say anything.
that was bullshit.
Oh, no, one of the 6 players in the league. Shut up.
Drew, you've said stuff for your entire career. Do you really think that you're going to stop now? No. That's what you do. You talk shit. You talked about your contract before it was done. You bragged about the fact that you didn't have an agent for an $11 million deal that you had no signing bonuses for. Drew, you don't stop talking. That's why they talk to you.
You see that thing yesterday from the Emmy? I want to say it was Emily Kaplan, or was it Katie
I
Stern?
might have missed it. I don't know.
Anyway, it was about if Gatorade or Nike approached you,
Yes.
would you feel guilty
About doing-
taking it? Like, do you think you'd be a distraction to the team?
Wait,
or
what? They
whatever?
asked Doughty
They,
this?
no, they
No,
asked
no.
NHL. It was like an NHL poll.
Yeah, it was an
Okay.
NHL poll. And
So what's the question?
If Gatorade asked you to endorse for them,
Yeah.
would you take it? Like, would you?
or would
Why
you,
would-
or would
be
you worry
worried
about
about
that being
being
a
a distraction to the team?
And 30%
What?
said no, right?
Yeah, a lot of them said no, and one guy's like, "Oh no, well that's just not me," and I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, first of all, don't worry, they won't be asking you.
Yeah.
there's like 6 NHL players on their radar.
And people are like, NHL culture, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? Not every guy wants to put themselves out there.
And that's fine.
That's
Sure.
totally cool. But Steve's right. There's about 6 guys you could do that with. 4 of them are Leafs. And then
That's
Connor
true.
McDavid and Sidney Crosby. Maybe Ovechkin too.
Subban for sure.
Subban for sure.
Yeah.
Subban.
I'm being
There's-
a jerk.
yeah.
I'm just
Who's
kidding.
still in
I'm trolling.
every commercial. That guy plays
is.
for the Devils. Like, no offense, no one cares.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
Especially because they suck.
well,
Yeah,
there's that.
it would help if they were not sucking. But I'm like the
We just
point
went
here is
so
that
many
Yeah, I was about
the
to say,
point
I gotta
here
pull
is
it back.
that question was really a bit of a, to me, misleading because of course there's going to be people that don't want to do it. That is hockey. What were you
30%
expecting?
of them.
Yeah, but and also like you said, don't worry, they won't be asking anyway.
I mean,
You'd
That's
lucky
a
if you bet-
shocking number to me, hearing that for the first time.
Well, yes, in comparison to basketball, baseball, and
That's
football,
true.
but knowing what you know about hockey, are you surprised?
Hey,
Yeah.
Alexander
It's-
Kerfoot, we're gonna give you a Nike deal. Yeah. Yeah, all right, sure.
We expect to sell 0 Nike things. Kerfoot.
Oh, no. Nike's perfect. Put them on
Nike,
your
Kerfoot.
feet.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow, he is revved up, man. That free
The
office
coffee is
coffee.
good. Let's go.
All right, so
I
how
believe
many-
you asked Jesse a question.
I
And then
don't
was like,
remember.
guess what? My show. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I don't remember what your
Doesn't
question
matter.
was.
Doesn't matter. Listen, how many times are we gonna have to say the Leafs looked really sloppy and almost terrible against a bad team at times, but still won? How many times are we gonna have to say that this year?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that about last
You're
night.
telling me that they did not look sloppy last night.
They did not look crisp.
They got the job done.
They got the
I
job
can't fault them
done,
for that.
and
Gerbder.
They
Yeah.
against Philadelphia, outside of the first period, which was almost immaculate until the very end. The Leafs, I thought, dominated the Kings. And the problem was, and Statman Stan Narodka pointed this out on ice surfing, the Leafs missed I want to say they missed the net like 25 times or something like that.
And some of them were wide open nets, like the Tavares one.
The Tavares
right off
one,
the top.
Marner missed the one-timer that Tan set him up. Like, why didn't the Leafs win 6-1 is one of the tweets I got this morning. They almost did.
Mm-hmm.
And I know almost ifs and buts, whatever. They won 6-1. They won 3-1. They won the game. They got 2 points at home. They allowed 1 goal. I know it's the Kings, but what a godsend. Like, for this miserable season that they've had. They outpossessed them. People were paying way too much attention to the shot clock. Like, if you watch the game, this is what was driving me nuts, is people were shoving all these numbers down my throat, and I'm like, are you watching? They had the puck the whole time.
It was
especially
surprising
the first
that
2 periods.
They outchanced LA. Like, I think it was 21-8 or something in the first period, but the shots were still 7-7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And one of those would have been Tavares flipping it over the net, which is not a shot.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's a chance.
Yeah, and it's a Corsi.
It is a Corsi. And
how's your
having John
fantasy
Tavares
team?
back was really nice.
You got 1/16th of a goal there?
Thank God Elias Pettersson is on a tear, and so is Bo Horvat, because those two have saved my pool. And Travis Konechny.
But
saved my pool.
the Kerfoot goal, I thought, was a perfect example for the entire game. You had 2 LA players in the corner just on their butts, and Kerfoot just taking the puck from center ice all the way down to the goalie and scoring.
And
like that was,
Nylander did the same thing.
and then you look at the thing, and it's 1-1. You're like, oh, it's only 1-1, but it's utter domination on that play. Like, it wasn't even competitive.
It's an NHL team against a borderline NHL
Right,
team.
and same with the Nylander goal, like you were talking about. He just took it from the blue line. They were just playing tic-tac-toe,
But
having
that's what
fun.
the Leafs need to be doing every game.
Right.
That's what they should be doing.
Well, not
But
every
they
team
did
plays them.
Takeaways.
They did it.
They did do it.
They
Yeah.
did it.
For sure.
They did it.
One game, but
dig
they
it.
did it.
They put Nick Patan on the top line for fun. Like, the Kings should feel a little disrespected
Sure.
by that. Todd McClellan, I think that's what Babcock was talking about when he said the game was beautiful. I think he was excited that his team only allowed 1 goal.
'Cause let me read
and
this
he was
quote.
praising McClellan.
Let me read this
I
quote.
think he was praising McClellan.
Well, here's what Terry Koshan tweeted. Babcock, there was not a whole lot at either end. Some people would think it was ugly. I thought it was beautiful. Now, a lot of people are very upset with this quote. Because Leaf Station's upset.
I get
so
why they're upset.
explain this quote what you think he meant.
What he meant was, hey, thank goodness my team only allowed 1 goal. I've been barking at them to do that forever. I want to say the penalties were down a little bit. It was the Kings. I think he was praising McClellan for coming in with his shitty team on the road, facing the Leafs at home, and
Not letting
containing
the
the
team steamroll.
damage.
Yeah.
You know, not letting the Leafs completely run them out of the building.
Okay.
You
With
know what I
Jonathan
mean?
Quick with his .850 save percentage.
No.
And that he
had a good
when
game.
did he become a non-option? Like
He's
he had a
still-
good game, but like Kerfoot just comes in and rips it.
He didn't look good.
The
But-
Matthews save wasn't bad when he went
Yeah.
post to post. That wasn't bad.
Yeah,
That's
and
true.
there's another one.
And he had a great non-save on Tavares. He got out of the way, and Tavares shot it over. Like, he did the right thing there.
Quick is man. There's so many plays where you're like, where are you going?
Yeah. Yeah.
And 2 cups,
But it
And just-
worked. That's the thing. And for like 2 seasons,
It worked.
It worked.
Well, that made
2 playoff
that
runs,
was
I should
very
say.
funny. Like during the Kings playoff runs, because a few people have been banging the drum for a long time. Hey, Quick's not that good, and I'm like, I don't know. Like,
He's got
he just,
2 Stanley Cups plugging in his ears.
Yeah.
You know?
He just has this random I'm not letting anything in switch that he
Yeah.
flicks.
Berkshire was the first time I really saw him upset people was when Jonathan Quick was at his height. And he tweeted, "I'm not really sure the obsession with Jonathan Quick because he has like 1 good month a year." And
Yeah, June.
and he's right. He was right. Like it was it was very, very funny.
I like Freddie to
Do
have a
we
good June.
think?
Yeah, sure.
Do we think he's
Good April.
he's
good.
trying a little less because he knows they're in a rebuild?
Yeah.
Do you think athletes, they tone it down when they're in this point of their career and their team's not very good, and it's like, hey,
And
I can't
he's-
get up for every game? Is that
he's-
little
I'm making
athlete
money,
psychology there?
Yeah.
He's
You know?
not so low-key the most hot-headed goalie in the league.
Yeah.
I think. Like, more so that Robin Leonard has that rep. Mike Smith has that rep. Tuukka Rask has that rep. Jonathan Quick will get mad just because he feels like it. Like, what? You skated through my crease benignly 8 minutes into the first? I remember when the Kings were up 5-0 on the Leafs a few years ago. This was the Matthews penalty shot game. Leafs came back a bit. It was 5-3 at the end of the game. And at the end of it, he's like going, yeah, I'm like screaming in Zach Hyman's face. I'm like, I'm sorry, are you losing your mind because you didn't blow a 5-goal lead? Is that the standard for the LA Kings now?
It is.
That what's
That's what it is.
He's a super emotional guy, and all you got to do is get him off his game a little bit. Willie had a really nice move on that goal. I don't think most goalies bite as hard as him.
Yeah, on the initial move. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He was down and out, and it was just, and that's empty.
As you get older, as a goalie, body position becomes more important. You can't react the same way that you used to.
And he's not big either.
He's not big. So, if he does want to get back to Jonathan Quick of old, the focus has got to be this offseason, and I hope this season too, with whatever goaltending coach he works with. Where is his body? And what is he biting on? What is he not? Because when he used to be able to recover really quickly, and I just don't see that anymore.
He's like a air hockey thing, like just the way he would slide across and he's so low. He always reminded me of a crab.
Yeah,
He's just such a weird looking goalie, but he'd find a way. And now I'm like, man, he's like sailing off to the face-off dot. I'm like, John, where are you going?
When was their first cup? What year?
2012.
2012. Okay, so we're coming up on 3 years. We'll be 10 years away from that. And
2014 was their second.
2014 was half a decade ago.
Yeah, that's about the time when we started this show. We started in 2013.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're going into this is year 7.
The LA Kings were the second team to win a cup in the history of the Steve Dangle Podcast.
That's right. What was the first, Steven?
That was the Chicago Blackhawks. Dave Bolin, 17 seconds. Boom.
Yeah, and then 13 games for the Leafs, and it was over.
Oh, certainly was.
So, the Matthews-Nylander combination, while good, didn't really come alive until the third period. You didn't really see them.
Yeah. Matthews had a disappointing game.
He did. But then they scored 2 goals in 35 seconds, and I'm happy again.
It's hilarious, right?
It is hilarious, but that's the kind of talent they have. My question to you is, and again, we're still not quite there in their development. They're still not done.
Something's
They're not cooked.
wrong.
They're just not old enough.
If they are they going to get, they have the talent to get here. Are they going to get to the point where they can dominate for every shift?
Part of me wonders if Matthews and Marner more than Nylander. Nylander, I don't know if he's on the same level as Matthews.
I don't think he is.
And that's fine. Yeah. Very few players are, right? But with Matthews and Marner, I just see two really distracted players.
Well, were Monahan and Gaudreau not the same in Calgary when they signed their big extensions? Like any Calgary Flames fan will tell you, that first year back was not great.
Kind of, but we're talking about a little bit more than contract pressure here. There's a court case. There was the long holdout with Mitch, and it was a lot more vicious than the Johnny Gaudreau saga. I just see two distracted players that are maybe gripping their sticks tight no, Austin's holding his stick just fine because the puck's still going in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's still scoring.
He's got a lot of goals.
But he's not paying attention to detail. Mm-hmm. Mitch is just crushing that thing into splinters.
Yeah, and he's skating around so fast, but it seems with no purpose.
And it's so...
If they could just, if Marner could lend Matthews a little bit of feet, and Matthews could lend him a little bit of hands.
A little bit of calm.
Godlike.
Well, here's the thing. Both of those guys have more points than they've played games this year.
I know.
Yeah.
Matthews has 18 points, 12 goals, 6 assists.
That's not the complaint.
Marner's got four goals, 13 assists. And Marner's never going to be a 30. If Marner's a 30-goal scorer, I'd be like, that's probably the top. If he ever
scored 26, didn't he? Or something like that.
Yeah. But he's going to be like a 30-70 guy and put up 100 points.
Yeah. I might say a 30-80 guy.
Yeah.
He does
Even
set up
that.
a lot of goals, especially when Tavares gets going again. By the way, can I just question this? As much as I want John Tavares back for Leafs reasons and for my Corsi Hockey League reasons, is it smart to have your best center come back and he can't grip his stick properly? Do you need that in November?
Yeah, there was... Okay.
The tough schedule really was October. It's done. Can we just let him heal? What does it matter?
There was everyone was focusing on the miss. I don't think
it's not the miss that I'm worried about.
I don't think that was the finger. He was awkward. He was a little too far away, and I think he had to overcompensate, and he
Yeah.
just like scooped it on a weird angle. There was a really benign play, I want to say, in the second period where because it's his top hand, right? And he had to reach in for a stick check with the top hand, and he just dropped it. So I don't know if that's like a first game back thing, and he's just like afraid of hurting it. That was the only thing that concerned me, but otherwise I thought he had a fine game.
Yeah, but I know. But like here's, I guess it's not really about whether or not he had a fine game.
I'm not worried about him re-hurting.
It's about no. It's not even that.
If he's not
Why-
100%, why are you running him
bother?
out there? Yeah.
They're still third in the division.
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, like
Couple points out of
As much
second.
as we're pissed off with the way they're playing, Boston and like as of last episode, Boston had played like 3 less games. Boston's now played 15. The Leafs have played 16.
Buffalo's lost 4 of 5.
Yeah, they're
No,
second
we
in the
expected
division.
that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Boston might already be running away with the division. I think they have, but
They're unbelievable.
they're
You
so
see what they were doing
unbelievably
in
good.
Montreal last night?
Oh yeah,
On a second half of a back-to-back?
ridiculous.
Just, they
They-
don't die.
They're
They
playing,
don't go away.
Like I said, they're playing like a team that should have won the cup last year,
Oh, man.
and they know it.
They know it.
They know it.
I think healthy, they run away with it. They steamroll St. Louis, but
early
woulda,
favorite,
shoulda, coulda.
like my October pick, Boston Bruins win the cup for
Oh,
sure.
my God.
But
my God.
I do want to say I think that yes, there's a ton of pressure on this young team, and he's the captain and all that stuff, and yeah, we're pissed off with the way they're playing, but that's more stylistically thing.
Mm-hmm.
This team is so good on paper that, and Drew Doughty even said this because he did mention the roster on paper, but he wasn't talking about Toronto.
No. It's ridiculous.
How could we twist him that way? How could we? How dare?
You put the words in his mouth.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. Yes, and
Well, in absence of teeth, right?
right, exactly.
Hey.
You know, what I like is that they had a gun to his head and made him answer that question that way. They gave him the script and they said,
No,
Drew,
they said, we're going to eliminate the world supply of Lay's chips if you don't say this.
Whoa.
And he said, I better say it.
Oh, yeah, we're just going to stop talking.
You don't talk anyway except for you.
In absence of
And
wins,
PK.
like,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
stop.
Um,
Stop.
The point is, and by the way, every time Drew Doughty rolls through Toronto, there's a Drew Doughty story because he's always said something.
Yeah.
Wasn't the contract thing just before Toronto?
Yes.
Last time with
His
Carlson?
agent dropped it like the 2 days before they came on their
What
road
a
trip
shock! I
because
wonder
he
why.
wanted the media to talk about it.
Crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Now, anyway, no,
Sorry that you said something interesting in the lifeblood of the sport. Seriously.
you know what I hate? Getting on the highway and going 100. Sucks. Sure, hate going fast
just
on the
awful.
highway.
Well, using Toronto,
Yeah.
that's not the greatest
Well,
analogy.
fair.
So
Highway
bringing
2 a.m.
Tavares back.
But so Tavares, is there just like listen? I love him having him back, but is there a point? What's the point? Why are we doing this?
Is
Does
the
it need to be done
thinking
now?
you bring him back versus a team like LA instead of a better opponent so that he can ease his way versus
I mean, that's
a
not
lesser
unfair.
team?
Why not?
I'm
might
just
have
trying
been
to
that.
figure out a strategy.
I mean, dude, they put Nick Patan on his line. Like,
Right.
they were clearly having a bit of a laugh. And part of me wonders, like, because I looked at this win, like, that they just managed to irk out. And I'm like, if you can beat Vegas on Thursday, now you're on a roll.
Yeah,
Now
no,
you've won 3 straight.
beating a real team.
You beat a real team.
In Vegas.
You head into a back-to-back weekend. Philly, Chicago, 2 struggling teams. You got to be able to take at least 2 of those 4 points, which is the strategy anyway. And then all of a sudden you've won 4 of 5. I don't know which 4 out of the 5, but all of a sudden you've won 4 of 5. So maybe they're like, all right, let's build on it. But I honestly don't think it's holding him back. I
Okay.
don't think he's at risk of injury.
Just a
They wouldn't
question.
have brought him back. He scored a goal with that finger, remember?
Yeah. When you put it like that, Vegas, the game on Thursday seems a lot more important.
It is, man.
Yeah,
is.
when it becomes 3 straight and rolling
Is,
into the weekend.
Is Fleury hurt? Did I hear
Yes,
Marc-Andre Fleury's hurt?
from what I've heard, yeah. I don't know if he'll be back.
Sparks, are they?
It would be fantastic, but that would
That's an
guarantee
automatic shutout, I'm
shutout
sorry.
for Garrett Sparks. And by the way, he had a shutout earlier this year with Vegas.
Exhibition, though, I think.
Oh, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was exhibition. And I want to say he's filled in once, like in relief, and I want to say he allowed like the first shot.
Listen, I don't know if Marc-Andre Fleury is playing or not. It doesn't seem to matter in their last 10. They're still 5-3-2. So
Well,
they're
they
not
know how to
doing
make like Oscar Dansk a god. And getting away from, do you have the Islanders anywhere in the show?
Because they won 10 straight.
Well, so they've won 10 straight, but man, getting rid of who is it? Steve Briere, is that his name? The goalie coach? What a miracle worker with the Islanders. Thomas Greiss is still a .930 goalie.
Was Steve Briere a Leaf guy?
It was a Marlies guy when they had Pickard Sparks, and you couldn't get a thing by him. And Semyon Varlamov is damn near .930 again.
Yeah.
Turn back the clock.
He's like 2013 Colorado Avalanche on the PDO heater they were on that. You remember? They were like explosively the best team in the league and then out in the first round.
But and this is an example where they go, oh, yeah, but PDO and regression and all that. I'm like, okay, this is over a year now.
Yeah, I don't know that this is PDO now.
Like what, 95 games? 100 games?
We did see with Buffalo last year that you can win 10 games in a row and not make the playoffs. But it's very hard not to. It's very hard not to. And you know what? The Islanders, you'd be surprised. Like, the fact that they're not number one in their division is shocking. But the Capitals have been that good, too.
Right.
11, 2, and 3.
Wow.
And they were supposed to be, quote-unquote, struggling when they played the Leafs. That's
trouble
struggling?
keeping the puck out of their net.
Man, I'd love to struggle
and
like
two
that.
1-goal games.
Yeah.
2 1-goal games. You had a stupid overtime loss and the 1-goal game where Tavares broke his finger.
Elliotte Friedman in 31 Thoughts said, with Travis Dermott back and Zach Hyman nearing a return,
Dermott looks great, by the way.
Yes, he does. Teams checking to see if Toronto wishes to move a big salary are being told the Maple Leafs are determined to give their strongest roster a chance, which makes sense. They want to see that group in action before making any rash decisions. That means, as expected, a team of 20 or 21, so 2 or 3 will be traded or waived. So, when we look at the roster...
Next show is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because a move would have to be made, you would think, if Hyman's back this weekend, which we think he might be.
Could be.
We also thought it would happen last weekend, and
Yeah,
that
that's
didn't
true.
happen, so we'll wait and see.
That's true.
Yeah.
But in the end,
Yeah.
he's coming back, and assuming there are no injuries, what do you see happening? And at this, not just you, I want to know what everybody sees happening. Like, what would you do?
I honestly have no read. I don't I don't understand how it all works. And it was 20, and then it was they might have to play short, and now it's 20 or 21. I have no read.
Well, I was wondering too, because I know that there was that story that was floated in September, and we really didn't talk about it at the time, but apparently Mike Babcock kicked Nick Petan out of practice because he wasn't bag skating hard enough or something like that. Like, to me, Nick Petan is gone. He's clearly too good for the AHL. He's only played in 5 games. Not gonna happen here.
Such a shame.
With Gauthier, you know he's gonna stay because he's been so great defensively as a center, but not great on the offense.
You know,
Hang on.
he's not playing center all the time.
He's not.
Sorry.
Well, hang on though. I'm just gonna run through the names.
Sure.
Nick Shore, who's been hot and cold.
Meh.
Nah. He's been meh.
He's a center option on the PK, which Babcock is clearly dying for.
Spezza?
I hope they find him a home.
Like-
I hope it's here.
Yeah. But is he playing enough for it to be home here? And is he playing well enough?
I think come playoff time, like if someone gets hurt, or even if someone doesn't, come on.
It'd be nice to have him.
It would be nice to have and Marincin.
Marinchin's gone. Well,
Or he's just back with the Marlies.
I think they try to waive him. You stuck him by once. I don't know. I look at this team. They can afford to lose guys. So I know we're going to be mad. Oh, we don't get top value for Petan or, Marincin or Shore or whatever. Engvall's in the wings. Korshkov's in the wings. Sandin is still an option.
Let's not forget about Jeremy Bracco as well.
Jeremy Bracco. Garrett Wilson is an option none of you have even thought of because he didn't even play any exhibition games last year. There's a guy who could, he played most of last season in the NHL, provides a little bit of size. Pontus Aberg, I want to say, is the Marlies' top scorer. There's all sorts of options. It's weird. I don't think anyone knows what's going on.
No. It's interesting. Jesse, do you have any preferences from what you've seen?
I'd like to see Spezza stick around.
Same.
Like
I
I
just
said,
don't see
I
how
would
it
too.
happens.
I would like that too.
I feel like he's such a good spare, but they don't have room for a spare.
Even.
But
Yeah.
whenever eventually somebody goes down, I feel like he can just step in wherever. And if we lose that, it'll hurt the Leafs, but it'll be what it is,
Yeah.
Like, they're not giving Timashov a shot with Tavares and Marner. Like, is Timashov better than Petan? Like, definitively? I've been impressed with him, but like...
We don't know that.
Well, there's no question that Mike Babcock likes him more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's that.
And that sort of matters. Whether or not he's better or not, that sort of matters. Josh Levo would have looked great in that group.
Man.
But
I just hope it's not another one of those.
okay.
Another one of those. Josh Levo, who's doing A-OK for the Vancouver Canucks. Who'd the Leafs get for him? Michael Carcone, who it ended up, he was a decent player in the AHL. And guess what? Throw away in the Zaitsev trade. So they get Dick. They get Cody Ceci.
Who we don't think is going anywhere.
No,
I think
he's going to
going-
the moon, Alice.
But how?
He is.
How?
Houseway? Well,
I don't know how, but how is you just at some point, dude? There are literally league minimum defensemen who are better options.
Martin
Justin
Richard.
Hall should be with Morgan Riley, straight up.
Okay.
Or Tyson Barrie.
Justin Hall's
Either one of
finishing
them, I
checks.
don't give a shit.
Justin Hall's finishing checks. This is what they
Yes.
wanted.
And
You got what you
good
wanted.
at hockey. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Morgan Riley, his body language suggests he hates his life.
Yeah,
right now.
I
Like,
think his step back this year, step back, whatever that is for Morgan
just
Riley that people have
defensively.
been complaining about. I think it's because he's paired with a guy who's
not
barely an
confident.
NHL defenseman.
He's
I'd
not.
How are
rather
you-
have Ron Hainsey. Straight
Oh, yeah,
up.
he played
I
so
would
well.
rather
With
have
him.
Ron Hainsey.
He played well with him last year, so I
He
think
had 70 points with him.
yeah.
Because
but
he was
I just don't
dependable.
know how. I haven't envisioned a future where he moves CC for anything.
I have a hard time
Unless
with
you
it,
just
too.
give up.
I have a hard time with it too. I really do. I don't know how they do it.
I'll buy him something for Christmas.
They can't.
He moves Cody
What
Ceci.
they can't do is trade him because, or at least they can't. I
They
can't
can
see them
try.
trading him yet because it may cost them. And like a team like the Jets, which needs it because of this Byfuglien stuff, which we're actually going to get into next, they can't make a trade because if they have to pay Byfuglien's salary, they're toast. They have They don't have the room. Like, they were already going to be tight against the cap with Connor and Line and all those guys. And there was like, which guy's going to leave? Oh, no, what are they going to do? If Byfuglien's salary somehow comes back into Winnipeg, they're in big trouble.
How are you taking on 4.5
Yeah.
CC? Yeah.
I think it would go into LTIR.
It
though.
would.
They'll
But
have
what
to
if he
pay the
wants to
money.
play?
Yeah, but what if he's on the roster?
Well, if he's on the roster,
'Cause
then-
now
then
Riley,
we're
he wants to
you
come
gotta
back.
you gotta prepare for that, right?
Right. I just don't think that's going to
They've
happen.
got
though. Like, I don't think he's gonna
$7.5
play
million
for
in
them.
current cap space,
Which is Byfuglien.
essentially.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And it's funny because he's not even listed as LTIR. I can't even find his deal.
because he's suspended right now.
Right.
He's in this weird void.
Yeah. Anyway,
If dude, like there's two things holding this team back besides a general effort. Cody Ceci's just shocking, and also if Tyson Barrie was half of what he was advertised as, which he's not even that yet, the Leafs probably steamroll most teams most nights. He's on pace for 26 points. He's flirted with 60 in each of the last 2 seasons, both of which he didn't play the full season. He put up, I want to say 2 years ago, 57 points in 68 games.
who's this?
Tyson Barrie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
if he
he's
starts
on
to
pace
play,
for 26 points.
what do they need to do with that? Like, what needs to happen for him to settle in? What's going on?
Well, we keep talking about how the Riley-CC pairing's not working out. Maybe Muzz and Barry's not. And they're both good individual players. Maybe mix them up.
Maybe all 6 of them just need a switch up.
Yes. And what I suggested today, because I know you don't get everything you want, so everyone going, Dermot with Riley.
No.
What you're going to get, what I think would be a good compromise, Riley Barry, Muzzin Hall, although that's optimistic, Muzzin Hall, and Dermot Ceci.
Is Barry? He's not on his wrong side. Then.
Nope.
No, he's a righty.
No. Okay. That works.
Righty.
Now,
and then you get 3 righties.
there's a
which,
chance.
Wow.
There's a
Yeah.
chance they'd be awful defensively. However, with
As opposed to what?
With Riley, yeah, exactly. It couldn't get worse. But
Right.
also, Riley and Barry together would have the puck so much that it almost wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
You might have the occasional blown giveaway where you have a 3-0 like you did last night with Vancouver. Oh my God, in overtime.
And if
but
Riley just looks like 10% more like Riley of last year, then we don't care. Just let them play better.
No, just
you know?
because you're going to be in the offensive zone the whole time.
Right.
They're
And
both,
even
they're
if you
not
give up,
useless defensively.
no, but if you give up then they can both skate, and that's what matters.
Yes.
But if you give up one terrible goal every 10 games rather than every second game like they're doing right now, you won.
That's extremely generous, Adam.
It is bad. It is really
Justin
bad.
Hall can
What
skate,
is
man.
it though? Like, okay, so you watch Cody Ceci, and I know Ottawa fans are gonna be like, "Yeah, we've heard this over and over and over again."
I'm done picking on the guy.
It's not fair.
He doesn't have an NHL skill set.
But does he? Is that what it is, or is it that he refuses to change?
No, he doesn't have an NHL skill set.
He's just not capable.
In his mind, he makes very strange decisions. I think he has an NHL heart. I see him go out there and block shots, and he seems like a good teammate and all that stuff. The skating is atrocious. The stick handling is atrocious. It's just not there.
And
It's just not there.
For that level.
Ian Graff's big thing. Ian Tulloch.
Right.
Gap
Ben
control,
Harper
baby.
leads the AHL in plus minus.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a jump.
Gap control is a big problem for him.
Huge problem. That was was that Ian Tulloch, or I
Yeah.
thought Justin Bourne might have.
Oh, he said that too, but I think Ian Tulloch's been beating
It's
that
that
drum.
obvious,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that was the big criticism for Connor Carrick, is that he gave too much respect to guys. Connor Carrick wasn't making $4.5 million. You know,
Yep.
like, man,
We're just
all I
lucky it
gotta do
wasn't
is-
5.
sorry,
Could have been 5.
could have been. All I got to do is find a way to resurrect Barry's season a little bit, like a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a lot, and get Cece off the ice, man. Get him off the ice.
He doesn't need to play.
No,
I think
dude,
they're.
throw Schmaltz.
You know what they're doing.
Schmaltz, like he couldn't be
But
worse.
you know what they're doing, right?
I know. I'm
This
not sure.
is a pump and dump.
Yeah.
This is a.
But it's not. It's
Pump
not.
how?
They're trying.
They're pumping
playing-
the basketball up and it's not going.
They are playing him with their best defenseman in the hopes that he looks like an NHL player, so another team will want him. Kind of like what they did
pumping
with
up
Nick
shoes by
Potato.
wearing them and
They
running
need
through
a
the
new
mud and-
needle. You know the little needle that comes at the end of your air pumps? They need a new one. This is not working.
The pumping is not working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pump it up. and
Yeah.
just
But you're
stabbing
100%
the
right.
thing.
That if he just played a little bit well, just
No.
showed anything.
No, then you should have traded him after game 4 when he had like an assist. Like, dude, it's not there. It's not there. And yes, listen, the team needs to play better defense. They gotta stop taking so many penalties. They gotta have a better effort. That's not an NHL player. And like, I look throughout the rest of the roster. I have no questions about skill set. Anywhere else on the roster, anywhere. It's just one guy. One guy.
The rest of them just need to perform up to their skill set.
Yeah, like I just think, what would Riley look like? I know we were all screaming Riley Berry, and right now I'm going Riley Hall. Like, just give him something.
Yeah,
Give him
Dermott would be
something
nice.
that's not this.
Dermott would be nice. He plays his offside.
Anybody. Anybody.
Trade
Buzzin'.
for Hainsey.
Trade for Hainsey.
You probably could get him. Probably wouldn't be that much.
Jesus.
Hey, before we get into Byfuglien, because there's a lot of minutia with Byfuglien, but I think it's important that we talk about it. I want to point out a problem with the NHL right now.
Everything?
Oh, come on, not everything. It's still wildly
Okay,
entertaining.
sorry.
Yeah,
Almost everything.
Steve, you like it more than anything on earth.
I know.
Like Steve's like, chocolate cake, NHL.
Yeah, well,
But
they both get me indigestion.
True. Okay, so this Charlie Coyle offside that from last night where he
Terrible.
receives the puck
Terrible call.
with his foot,
We'll put it up on
and
the
then put it up on the screen.
screen.
Yeah, Bruins got jobbed.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
sucks. But the Bruins still played great, and they're fine.
Yeah, but
still
screw
fun.
them. You know?
Yeah, but also screw the Bruins.
I mean, about time. But like they did get jobbed.
Oh no! Did something go against Boston? Oh no!
And Jack Edwards lost it.
Oh, of course he did.
Because something bad happened to the Bruins. How dare you screw over the BROONS? How dare you?
And on the second half of back-to-back, had a really, really good game. Here's the
Extremely
problem
good game,
with the
yeah.
Charlie Coyle offside. There's a ton of focus on it from pundits. There's a ton of focus on it from the game ops. There's a ton of focus on it from players. But one thing that I know is that it is an extremely boring thing.
Oh my God! It
It
took
is so
forever.
And this is an issue with the NHL. Because if the biggest story out of last night games was Charlie Coyle's offside, it whether it was offside or not. And I know this happens in football a lot. At least guys are diving through the air. Charlie Coyle received a puck off of his skate, and we have frozen 80 different angles on it. And it is something that everybody is talking about today. And I have to say, kind of the issue with the NHL is that the boring shit like this tends to take center stage. And it's a shame. And like Jesse and I were talking after last episode, or at least, we were talking about the difference this year, what we were talking about on the ice. Last year we were talking about, at this point, is Willie going to sign? Is Willie going to sign? Is Willie going to sign? Oh no, what are they going to do with Austin? Oh no, what are we going to do with Mitch Marner? We're talking about hockey, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about the business part. There's no looming lockout. That's fantastic. We're not talking about whether they should go to the Olympics or not. We're talking about the game.
So good.
But we are talking about the wrong parts of the game. If the news the next day is a Charlie Coyle offside.
Yeah, it took way too long.
I get it if you're a Bruins fan, and I get it if you're a Canadiens fan. That's the game you're in. But that should not be the NHL issue the next day.
Would have gave the Bruins the lead, and I think the Habs took the lead after.
Totally.
Yeah.
Great. Still sucks and is boring.
No, it sucks.
And why are we spending 20 minutes on this? It's very clearly onside.
People disagree.
Well, they're wrong.
I think they're wrong.
And that's control of the puck. You receive it with your back foot. Come on.
So, yeah.
And
it's difficult to show on the podcast because we obviously can't show you the footage. But
we can show him a GIF, can't we? You know who's got it?
Yeah.
You got Justin Bourne's got it.
Okay.
So check out JT Bourne. He's got the GIF. He's retweeted it.
And I love Justin Bourne because you can't tell him anything. Shut up, nerd, who played professional hockey. He's just so here's the GIF. Jesse's zooming in on it right now. Charlie Coyle is receiving the pass. He is pretty clearly doing it on purpose. He's receiving it with his skate, which you see players do all the time. If he kicks that cleanly up to his stick in one fluid motion, like we see Mitch Marner do all the time. Mitch loves that move, and it looks extra familiar because he's a right-handed shot. That's got to be possession, right? The pass is going to him. He's intentionally taking it with his foot. Is it because the puck lags behind him ever so slightly?
What? You're not on the it was offside side, right?
I think that's onside.
Yeah, they were screwed.
Yeah, because the argument was, does he have possession?
No,
yes.
that's not an argument. I don't think, because in hockey, possession is so fluid.
Well,
that's it's not
better?
football.
Would it be better if he's handling a flipping puck on its side, on his backhand? He has way more control now with his foot, with the puck flat on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Than a lot of guys. Than even Braden Shen had on the 3-on-0 goal against Vancouver.
I don't understand how they even thought that was offside, but it's even more ridiculous that this is a discussion that they engineered the game in a way that you can end up with this being a discussion.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
What's possession?
That's an issue.
Do you see the issue here? Is that this is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
And you know what's not boring? Steve Dangle Podcast live at Regulars Bar tomorrow. Hey, now we're actually gonna have some fun tomorrow. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah,
really excited for this.
We're actually gonna have some fun.
Well, we always do, but we love our live shows. We won't get to do them enough, and it's really cool that they reached out and said, "Hey guys, you want to do this?" So you are gonna be there. Regulars is a great place to watch any Toronto sports team. Lost Craft is the beer. They're serving that at $5 every Thursday, and tomorrow is a Thursday. Shocking. And here's the deal. There's a lot of stuff happening tomorrow that we're going to have a lot of fun with, including me eating a ghost pepper. Now, I'm still convinced that I'm going to do it at the beginning of the show. The guys keep saying no.
Listen, man.
And I think...
You're a grown-ass man.
I think that you guys are overestimating my value to the show. I feel like I could be on the side, and you guys can still carry on and have an entertaining show.
I'm not kidding. The first 20 minutes of the show is going to be you dying.
Does it wear off after that, though?
I don't know. I've never been dumb enough to do this.
Yeah.
Who is in charge of buying the ghost pepper?
I don't know.
Because we can't let Adam buy his own ghost pepper, right?
Probably not.
That's an unfair advantage.
You guys figure that out. I have to take my mid-show pee break.
You're money in the bank every show.
Yeah,
drink a big water.
This is becoming a regular thing.
But I'm going to be Joe Rogan about this and make fun of your bladder size. He's always like, I do 3-hour podcasts and never have to pee.
He does.
Yeah. I don't know. You live in Toronto.
I do.
Do you want to get it?
I will pick it up then.
Do you know any stores that like they get off on this? Like they're like, yeah, we have the hot shit.
See, funny thing about this is I don't have a ghost pepper guy.
You don't have a guy?
Yeah, no, it's
Everyone's got
you're
a guy.
shocked, but I don't have a ghost pepper guy.
Man.
But I can do some perusing. I live in there's a bunch of local markets around where I live, so
You're gonna get the
I'll ask
better
some
stuff
questions.
at the markets.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna put like more like regular people who like just a little tickle in their food.
I'm gonna go in there all smug, like I'm gonna swing my arms, and be like, "Hey, I know about hot food. Challenge me," and then
pretend like it's you.
yeah,
and
exactly,
be a dick
exactly.
so that they want to hurt you. There you go.
And then
All
I'm gonna get the worst pepper I can find,
And this is how we hurt our friend.
and then I'm gonna give it to Adam.
I'm less concerned about our live show and more concerned about your morning radio show on Friday.
And the bowel movements that come with it.
Like,
because
Adam-
when you have spicy food, it burns on the way out.
Like, do you have microphones in the bathroom?
Guys, did you know that Pure Later's hiring?
Are they back? You
They didn't
can't.
park in the right place. Can you see it on camera?
You can see the front.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
One of these days, we're gonna have them getting a ticket.
No, that's a 20-minute drop-off zone. As long as they're there 20 minutes.
We need to get a sponsorship with Pure Later.
We do.
We do. They just don't pay us.
They have it already.
They're getting advertising. Why would they pay us?
Right,
Come
right.
on. Hey, if you do work for Pure Later's marketing team, we'd be happy to talk
Call
to
us
you.
up.
Now let's talk about Dustin Byfuglien
If
for
you
a
work
second.
for Pure Later's marketing team, you owe us friggin' money.
I'm going to read Elliotte Friedman's wording because Elliotte Friedman is as careful as they come. And I want to just get this out there, and then we'll see where we think things are going. So you heard a little bit of the breakdown last time, but here's what he says. There's a reason Jets GM Kevin Cheveldayoff is being evasive about Byfuglien. The clamps are tight. He's trying not to pour gasoline on the fire, and the edict from the league itself... that edict is from the league itself, which will take the lead on Byfuglien's file. So this is even out of the Jets' hands. This is being elevated. At issue is Byfuglien's season-ending physical, taken after the Jets were eliminated from the first round by the St. Louis Blues, and multiple sources indicate he was pronounced fit to play. According to Brian Burke, who has some expertise on these matters, these checkups must be signed by the doctor, a medical trainer, and the player. There is also something called Form 25A, which labels you as fit or unfit, and that must be signed by the doctor. If a player disputes the finding on Form 25A, he can seek a second opinion. It is, I'm told, the NHL's position that those results were never disputed during the summer, and that when Byfuglien informed the team that he wasn't going to play, he said he'd lost his passion for hockey. Therefore, his preference was to retire, which is what we initially had heard when he had come out, when he didn't report to camp. In the reporting of this story, one thing was made clear to me. The NHL will fight hard to protect the integrity of the year-end physical. A player signing it, then successfully disputing it months later, would lead to major league-wide consequences. The league also feels Winnipeg did nothing wrong in the situation and should not be penalized. Now, Byfuglien and his representatives and the NHLPA believe this. During the 2018-2019 season, Byfuglien had 2 lengthy absences due to ankle problems and returning to full-time action with a week to go in the regular season. He also, we believe, had a concussion. You know athletes, they play hurt. They put their bodies on the line, especially at playoff time. He played hard against the Blues, averaging 25-42 a night with 8 points in 6 games. Wow. What a beast. He feels the Jets were well aware he wasn't anywhere close to 100%. He didn't dispute the finding of the physical and figured that with a summer of rest and any lingering issues would disappear.
That's it.
But, okay, do you want me to stop?
Well, so they're going to fight hard to protect the integrity of, the player signed off on it. The player doesn't know he's got a broken bone. That was the whole thing, is that, like, when I screwed up my back, because I've screwed it up before, and I'm like, okay, I know how long this takes to recover. And when I started to get scared was when, like, a week has passed, 2 weeks has passed, and no progress has been made. So he plays his final game, Game 6 against the Blues, and he goes, all right, my ankle feels shitty. I know what my shitty ankle feels like. And in a few weeks, I expect it to feel like this, and in a month, I expect it to feel like this. And what probably killed his passion for hockey is months and months later, his ankle was still killing him. Because he probably thought it was a sprain or something. He had a broken bone in his foot. And like, What's this? What does the signature mean? The signature. He doesn't know. He's not a professional expert. He's not an X-ray machine.
So what are teams to do then, Steve?
Yeah.
Like the other side of that is he is a professional athlete and he should seek a second opinion. If he's not feeling right, well, it doesn't say that he did. He didn't dispute it. He didn't sign Form 25A. That's the problem. If you wanted to seek a second opinion and you knew that you weren't close to 100%, even if you thought a summer would heal, you still have to go and do your due diligence and get the second opinion.
But this is he should have done this right after the playoff run.
Well, that's when the year-end physicals are.
I still have a problem with that, man.
Who are they trying to put the onus on? Because if you're putting the onus on a player to report his own injuries, that's absurd.
Like, how is he supposed to
They're
know?
athletes who aren't medical doctors who will try and play through anything. But it should be, the team should also be putting medical practices in place so there's like defaults where it's like it's not up to the player because there's barriers in the way.
Yes. But it's not in the team's interest to report on the player. That's why I think if you're a player, you have to, like Dan Carcillo came on this show and said players have got to take responsibility for their own health.
Yeah.
And so it's not about the fact that teams shouldn't, but it's about asking yourself. And again, this goes to drug testing. We could talk about the cocaine thing that came out with Emily
Katie
Kaplan as
Strang's
well.
article was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. Great. Oh, Katie Strang. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, Katie.
Did they team up on it? Why am I getting confused too?
Was it not Katie?
I thought it was. Anyway.
It doesn't. It was from the Athletic. We'll find out. Can you, if you don't
I'll
mind
just
finding out?
look it up again.
Whoever it was, my apologies. It's just off the top of my head.
Yeah, same.
Expecting that a team, and it's not that there's some evil intent here. But
I don't
it's-
think so.
But
No,
when
I
you're
don't
talking
think so.
about professional athletes, especially after the playoffs, everybody's hurt.
Yes.
So what's the line of fit to play? Fit to play is he played 25 minutes a night and had 8 points. So he was fit to play. Was he 100% healthy? Different question.
But like, I don't think they knew. Like, I don't think at any point during that report, and I haven't seen it, it said broken ankle. Right?
Right.
So
Well,
that's the
yeah, I don't
problem.
think it was
And
a
what-
broken ankle. I
and-
think it was tendons and stuff. Like
well,
I think he,
and now there's, maybe the question is, well, when we did the test, the ankle was not broken.
Well,
and
so
then it became broken, and then it's a completely different conversation.
If like what you were saying was happening, he's going all summer, his foot's not feeling right, then that is up to him to go see a doctor.
But hold on a
But
sec.
then he did.
Hold on a sec.
And then he did.
No, but hold on a sec. Because more information on that.
Yeah, okay.
Byfuglien didn't complain about pain during the summer because
There
he
you
didn't
go.
skate.
oh,
He took it easy, thinking rest was best. It was only when he started restarted skating, immediately prior to training camp that he realized the ankle had not healed. He hasn't spoken on this matter, but according to a few sources, maintains that this is when he began thinking about retirement. The NHL season's a grind, and Byfuglien wasn't excited about beginning it with pain. The proof he feels is that he moved his family back to Manitoba. If he hadn't been thinking about playing, he wouldn't have returned to Manitoba. Probably true. Byfuglien recently had surgery to repair the damage. Elliott's been told. I've been told there was a broken bone in his foot, also fixed in the procedure. However, the timing of the injury is also in dispute. I don't spend much time on my Twitter mentions, but apparently a few people took that to mean he was injured during doing something else during the summer. Elliotte does not believe that's the case. From what he understands, the dispute is whether or not both sides already knew that and that this wasn't a revelation. Now, the issue I have in reading this with the Winnipeg Jets is if you know Dustin Byfuglien's retiring, you're not trading Jacob Trouba for Neil Pionk.
right.
Yeah.
You're not letting Tyler Myers go. You're keeping
Right.
Tyler Myers. You can afford Tyler Myers.
Or you're figuring something out. Or if you are getting rid of those two, you're bringing someone else in.
Yes.
And before you had brought up his contract situation, they have $7.5 million in cap space. His contract is $7.6 million.
They had no idea this was about to happen.
They have to hold on this space just in case.
So
it's
they're
ridiculous.
claiming right now, from what I understand from that, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but from what I read out to you guys, does it not sound like Winnipeg is saying, oh, he told us at the beginning of the summer he wouldn't be back? Is that not what that sounds like to you?
Read that one more time.
Because
that's not what I got.
it is, I'm told, the NHL's positions that those results were never disputed during the summer, being his injury. So I'm rewinding here. In the reporting of the story, one thing was made clear to me. The NHL will fight hard to protect the year-end physical. Hang on. Let me have a look.
Sure.
No problem. Take your time.
Expertise.
This is, I don't know. It's definitely underrated. The weirdest.
It's very
story in the
Yeah,
NHL.
it's
Never seen
something
anything like this.
we've never seen.
It is, I'm told, the NHL's position that those results were never disputed during the summer, and that when Byfuglien informed the team that he wasn't going to play, he said he lost his passion for hockey. Therefore, it was his preference to retire. The question I have is, when does Winnipeg and the NHL, because they're working together on this one, when do they claim he said he was going to retire?
Mm-hmm.
When was that claim made? Was the claim made that he felt like that in September? Or was it in June, July, August? That makes a big difference because their actions will dictate, their actions during the summer dictate to me that they expected him back.
100%.
But if they're claiming that after the year-end physical, he didn't want to come back, they're not. We don't know that yet.
That does not seem to be
his
the case
preference was to retire.
But when was his preference
Yeah,
to retire?
was-
He
That's
moved his
important.
family back to Manitoba.
Right.
So
So
he's from like Minnesota or something?
I don't know.
He's
I don't
American.
But he's American. I know he's
Yeah.
American.
Yeah. None
This
of this makes sense.
Yeah, this is really.
Yeah,
this is,
if they knew his preference was to retire, you don't trade those defensemen.
Right. The simplest answer here is he didn't know how much he was hurt.
Yeah.
So
I
here's,
think.
here's what Friedrich goes on to say. Right from the beginning, other teams questioned why, if Byfuglien was still bothered by his injury, he didn't just show up to camp, accept a rehab assignment, and get paid. Anyone who
Right.
knows Byfuglien is well aware of his unique personality. He's his own man. Some of his friends and teammates have said no one is surprised that he'd do the exact opposite of what should be done or what is expected. That's Dustin being Dustin, they'd say with a laugh. If he can avoid going to training camp, getting poked and prodded, and just resting on his own, I think he'd like that a lot, says one former teammate. I can totally see that. This is Elliotte talking now. But it add extra layers to the dispute, and that's correct. Another said not to dismiss the divides that occurred in the Jets' dressing room last season and how Byfuglien felt about that. He believed those took a toll on the big defenseman, too. The organization has worked hard to address those concerns, from giving Patrick Laine much more responsibility to Captain Blake Wheeler promising a change in his leadership to head coach Paul Maurice pushing a positive environment. Now, okay, that can all be true.
Yeah.
Sure.
But if Dustin Byfuglien wants to fight this, so point A is, when do the Jets and NHL say that Byfuglien didn't want to play anymore and wanted to retire? That's important point number
Extremely
one.
important.
Important point number two.
Sorry for
No.
your first point. Even if he informs the team, hey, my preference is to retire, but then takes no action on it, are they to assume that he still wants to retire, even though he's never, say there's form he has to fill out to retire?
If you're in the business of contracts, you know nothing's for sure until something's signed.
Right.
So if I'm Kevin Cheveldayoff and I know Dustin Byfuglien wants to retire, I'm pushing him for an answer before we get to free agency so I can make some moves.
100%. Also, his ankle's broken the whole time.
Is it was a broken ankle?
That's he's got a broken bone in his ankle
Broken
or
bone in
foot.
his foot. The ankle, I believe, was like like one of those high ankle sprains that gets really bad.
Yeah, I
and
think you're
inflamed
getting
and-
confused with the ankle and the
Yeah,
foot.
the broken bone in
bone's
his
in the
foot's
foot.
different.
Yeah.
They're two separate things, and I believe when we talked about it last episode that the broken bone was discovered while they were operating,
That's it, yeah.
or the X-rays before the operation. Meaning that, what I understand anyway, and this could change, the Jets didn't catch the broken bone in the foot, which might have pissed them off, frankly.
Dude, of course.
But they're
Understandable.
it said they're trying to protect the exit interview where they didn't catch it, because it sounds like they did all the right stuff in that interview if they're trying to protect it that hard.
Yeah. Well, they better
couldn't
have
have,
a
though.
solid defense on that.
They couldn't have. They missed the foot. Unless
But that happens, I guess,
he
in medical circumstances. I
mean,
don't know.
yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
That can happen.
Right.
But that doesn't take the responsibility off the Jets. If
Like,
they
what I'm
miss the
saying
broken
is-
foot and he's got a broken foot,
Yeah.
and they find out that they missed the broken foot, that still doesn't make it not the Jets' responsibility. Does that make sense?
pay him
Yeah.
the money he's owed.
Right, because it doesn't really matter because they've got an insanely rich ownership group. But I think beyond this, Dustin Byfuglien didn't help his own case here. If what we are to understand is the truth, if Byfuglien wanted to be paid, if Byfuglien wanted to continue to work in the NHL, it doesn't help that he didn't dispute it, he didn't skate on it, and he didn't report. And that might just be his personality, but I'm just saying it doesn't help.
It sounds like...
And I'm going on an incomplete picture here.
Yeah,
too.
from the outside looking in, if Dustin Byfuglien really wanted to play this season, or if he wanted to just get paid and sit at home, there were steps he could have taken for that to happen. Like, if he wanted to retire and just get the paychecks, he could have just been on Robidas Island right now, just chilling.
His desire to retire and his lack of love for the game, that sounds born of his injuries.
Right.
That he didn't know were as bad as they were. So I don't know. I'm tending to side with Byfuglien here.
Well,
man.
and I think the courts would always side with the player on this one.
But he
too.
seems so wishy-washy on his decisions. Like, he seemed to be living in this limbo of, maybe I'll retire, maybe I won't. But then he discovers he has this foot injury, and then who knows? We don't know what he wants to do right now.
Well, and we haven't heard from him either.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Sort of
Does he want to
complicates
play
things.
now, or does he want to rehab this bone in his foot? Because that's going to take
And
a
the
whole
key
year.
to that is it seems wishy-washy. But usually
Yes.
when it seems wishy-washy, because again, the picture is still pretty blurry for us.
Yeah.
There might be a reason why those things all happen, other than it's
100%.
just Dustin
What
being
if-
Dustin.
What if he doesn't want to play anymore, but also he should get paid?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
on that side.
here's what's going to happen. I think he is going to come back, but I don't think it's going to be with the Jets. And I see some have suggested there might be, like, remember Mike Richards with LA with that odd settlement where he gets paid for the next 15 years?
Oh my God, yes.
Which is
and it
super
counts
strange.
$0 against the cap
Yeah,
or
'cause
whatever
that makes
it is.
a lot of sense.
It is a travesty.
Just like the Devils aren't playing for Kovalchuk and got their first round pick back.
Travesty.
Oh, sorry, Kovalchuk isn't playing for the Devils or doesn't count against the Devils or whatever. Joke.
Yeah.
Both are a joke.
Travesty.
But the question is, and Elliotte raises this at the end of it, does he want to go back to Winnipeg? Do the Jets even want it? Shovel Dayoff isn't saying, but the suspicion is the Jets know they're much better with him than without him. Duh. As for the player's choice, well, it's much less certain. He is owed $14 million. $8 million this year, $6 million next. You have to expect that he's going to get that money. He is. He
In
has
some
not retired
in some way, yeah.
He is not retired
He's owed
yet.
that money.
So that eventually Winnipeg is going to have to. They're going to have to settle this. And my question, I wonder if you're Winnipeg, you just say, listen, if you don't want to be here anymore because you don't trust the medical staff or whatever, we'll reinstate your contract and pay you what you're owed from the beginning of the season. Let us find you a trade when you're completely healthy.
Right.
And that's the best way to end this. Because $14 million, and it wouldn't even be the full $14 million because the Jets would end up trading him anyway.
Right.
The Jets will want to get an asset. He'll want to get out of there. And I think it's best for everybody, especially the NHL who needs PR wins, to not fight the player on this. What you want is Dustin Byfuglien to. This is from a legal perspective. You want him to
Edmund
not
doesn't give a shit about
I know,
that.
but as a lawyer, you don't want him to challenge that form. The end of your physical, you don't want him to challenge, because if you go there, then it's a protracted legal battle.
So you
right?
want it settled.
You want it settled. So I go to him and I say, listen, give him his money, and then find a trade for him. So that way, Winnipeg gets an asset back. New team gets Byfuglien, which who the hell wouldn't want him? He's amazing. And, they get him for the playoffs, right? If he's ready for February, then you play him in 25 games, and then he's healthy for the playoffs. Oh, my God, you've got Byfuglien on your team for the playoffs? Amazing.
And then he could, if he doesn't come back for that team, then he's in, David Clarkson, Nathan Horton territory, where you got to pay him, but I don't know if his contract's insured or whatever.
But
But
it would probably be a rich
LTIR.
team that would pick him up anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And so
Imagine it's the Bruins.
imagine it is.
The Bruins, sorry, the Rangers.
I mean, I would you could you see the Leafs not being in on that with Barry and Cece?
They don't have room, right?
There's.
I don't think
you
they
make,
have.
you make
Yes,
room.
we do, says Brandon Pridham.
You find room for that guy.
They're already
Sure.
spending over $100 million.
And you have to think about the prorated nature of that too, right? If they pay him from the beginning of the season, then there's a bunch of implications. But I can imagine the
also
Leafs would be
retain.
like, yes, please.
Yeah.
They can also retain.
They could also retain.
I also wonder. I have so many questions about this story.
Yeah, because there's so much you don't know.
Yeah,
right?
it's so blurry. If he had a good relationship with Shovel Dayoff and Winnipeg and the team, it would have never gotten to this point.
Which it doesn't sound
Yeah.
like he does.
Right. If that's your guy, if you're good with everyone there, you come to training camp, you say, "Oh, there's a broken bone in my foot. This is what I want to do. Hey, this is I want to retire. Hey, I want to play," and then you work to that solution. But the fact that they're fighting, there sounds like there's so much more.
Well, and you know what I still think about every now and then? The Evander Kane tracksuit story. Okay, Evander Kane, noted, not the greatest guy, but the who does that? We just throw
Do you
some
want
trash.
to tell the story for anybody who doesn't
Well,
know?
yeah, supposedly Evander Kane was late for, it was like a team meeting or something, and he was like wearing a tracksuit or whatever. And then I guess he changed or something. Whatever, he had this tracksuit. And so Buffalo just throws it into the shower.
Yeah.
And Kane, interestingly enough, this was an injury issue too. He had the option of, okay, I can try to continue playing, or I could have this season-ending surgery. And after that, he was kind of like, you know what? Fuck you.
I'm having the surgery.
I'm going to have the surgery
traded him to Buffalo.
eat shit and trade me. And then they traded him to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And you thought you hated Winnipeg. Try this for size. And now he's with the Sharks, who are cup second last.
But he's leading them in goals.
For sure.
Probably their best player.
For sure. And they're all really happy.
Now, Evander Kane, now that you bring him up, it came out today that Evander Kane is in gambling debt to a casino in the United States. And we know Evander Kane likes the casino. Remember that famous picture where he's like holding a stack of money and it's like a cell phone?
How much money was that? 500 grand?
He borrowed $500,000 and apparently,
Wow.
not only that,
$500,000.
from the casino, so they've now filed a lawsuit to get their money back.
Right.
He spent it in April last year while the Sharks were in the playoffs, during the playoffs. So
In
they
Vegas.
can prove when he was there. So he was doing it around or after the games.
It's crazy.
And
Or before.
wasn't it game 3 and 4? Between game 3 and 4?
Like you blow $500,000 in less than a few days. Now he makes that kind of money.
It's like he was
Right.
playing to continue the playoffs because the Sharks were down 3-1
right.
after that game.
Right. Now there's a whole lot of issues with this because you're talking about somebody that potentially could be dealing with a gambling addiction. Could be, maybe.
Totally. I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
You could never know.
Dude, it's $500,000.
You would never know, though.
Yeah, right.
You could never know. You don't know unless he comes out and admits it. That's an alleged comment.
Well,
You can't, right?
Yeah.
And all the same, like, okay, the last thing the Sharks need right now is to find out their top scoring player was gambling like that. Like it's
During the playoffs.
It's one thing if you go to the dollar slots, if you're a millionaire, or penny slots in my case, and you're this is funny, we're in Vegas, this is cool. But you're talking about $500,000 you have to try to lose. That's not easy.
You probably didn't spend that in one hand.
I mean, you could have. There are high roller hands.
You could
there.
have.
But probably not.
Probably not. I think it might have taken a while. Like this feels like the Radulov Kostitsyn curfew story from years ago with the playoffs and everything. Except I don't recall the part of the story where they lost $500,000.
It's a shame because trouble seems to follow Evander Kane.
Yes.
And he's proven that time and time again wherever he goes.
Yes. And it was funny that the talk about him when he got to San Jose was, well, this
is it.
It was also these guys, they're a great leadership group. And
Joe
they'll
Thornton picked him
correct
up
this.
from
They're
the
going to get him
airport.
in line. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, listen, you can have gambling problems, and that can be a.
Was he alone?
Was he alone?
There's a fun one.
That's the key question.
There's a fun one.
So this will be an interesting follow. I wonder if they come to a settlement on that.
I don't know if the Sharks want an answer to that one.
Probably not.
Yep.
Probably not. And the Sharks are in tough. They're in real trouble this year.
Are they this year's Sens? They don't have their first round pick.
Or are they this year's Blues?
Man,
Stop saying.
what a chasm! What a huge difference between the two.
They could be.
Everybody keeps saying that about every team now.
No, but
Hey,
January
Detroit.
3rd.
Could be the Blues.
Detroit's got them right where they want them. Ottawa. They got 'em.
Adam,
Ottawa's-
January 1st. Their
Ottawa's
last
not this
place.
year's Ottawa. Ottawa is this year's Blues.
Is Ottawa this year's Blues?
Yep. And they're gonna get Ben Bishop back. And this is how it's gonna work. No, man.
This year's Blues.
This year's Blues. Here
I don't
we go.
think so. But they could be.
They don't have their first round pick. They're garbage on the ice. Drama off the ice.
And
Sounds an awful lot like last year's Sens.
the thing is that they're
Is
not
there
as
Uber in San Jose?
I don't know why. I don't know
reason.
that they seem to not have a complete team. They seem to have gone like the Monstars, where like they're from
San
space.
Jose?
Yeah, they're like big stars, everybody else, but everybody else isn't up to the same par that San Jose is used to, right? Like you're lacking the Trevor Moores in your
They
system. for
literally
instance.
can't play one direction. They can't defend, and the goalies can't compensate
And that's
for that.
what isn't making them beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
I'm proud of that one. Okay.
Can I just point out there's a UPS fan behind us now? Competition Purelator?
One guy I wonder if they might take a look at is Tyler Toffoli, who was on the trading block in Los Angeles. Now, he's got a big contract, so LA would have to obviously, cut some or have to retain. But that might be an opportunity. If you've already given up your first-round pick this year, you may as well double down. You may as well. Like you got a Columbus this. You got to go for it.
And it's not what is different from the Sens situation is the Sens were pretty obviously a bad team.
San Jose's not.
No.
Well, they were supposed to be playoff bound. But they're not.
For crying out loud. Like I keep saying it, they should have won the cup. Like we talk about how the Bruins should have won the cup. Dude, San Jose with any kind of goaltending.
Do you think the fact that, forget the age, do you think the fact that they're not a particularly fast team has finally caught up with them?
Well, does this sound an awful lot like the St. Louis Blues conversation from last year? We were talking about how the Blues were slow.
Yeah. But they got then they got a goalie.
Could be that. I don't know, man.
I mean, San Jose needs a goalie. That's the key. Obviously, it's everything. However, goalie has to be number one, right?
I mean, Aaron Dell and Martin Jones have been terrible, but I just don't know if a goalie cures what ails them.
Okay.
I think it's deeper
It might,
than that.
though, because they're so top heavy. Like they're built kind of like the Leafs, except older and with less depth. If that's fair.
Does the goalie have two groins and they can give Carlson one? Like
maybe a new ankle,
three ankles.
We were looking at the numbers last episode. If I can pull it up here, Martin Jones is sitting at an 889.
That's so bad.
That's not NHL level.
I'm pretty sure that's higher than last show.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, and last year he was an 896, and he was an 898 in the playoffs in 20 games. Like,
and he had like one game where he had like a 50 save shutout or something stupid like that.
And how have they not just gone out and tried to solve this problem?
They did nothing. Yeah, that's wild. Is that they did nothing? Like you don't even replace Aaron Dell?
No.
What? With all the goalies that were out there? What? You're telling me no one wants to play in California?
878. Aaron Dell's save percentage.
He's a non-option.
They have two goalies who can't play.
Wasn't Garrett Sparks better than 870 whatever?
Oh, yeah. Curtis McElhaney. Greatest goalie on earth. Could have had him.
You could have had Garrett Sparks for
nothing.
nothing.
Does anybody really want Garrett Sparks, though?
That
comes with having Garrett Sparks.
Shark should.
That's not a Garrett Sparks fan.
Sure.
Before we get to the press conference here, Taylor Hall's agent. Maybe you've heard of him. Ferris of Darren.
And what European team is Taylor going to?
His agent is scheduled to meet with, and I love that Elliotte Friedman did not mention the agent's name in 31 Thoughts when he brought this up.
That is a good move,
But
Elliotte.
Darren Ferris, Ray Shero are going to meet apparently on the team swing through Western Canada. He thinks it's going to be in Calgary. Now, do you think Darren Ferris takes this meeting and goes, Ray? No. Because even if Taylor Hall signs in New Jersey next summer, it's going to be next summer when he's on the open market, right? How much money is New Jersey going to have to shovel Taylor Hall's way for him not to go to open market? $13 million? $14 million?
There's no way Taylor Hall makes less than John Tavares.
Do you think Taylor Hall makes
that's
more?
a lot of money.
There's
But
no
okay,
way.
and remember this. Part of what a player makes is the value to their team. Mm-hmm. And if Taylor Hall leaves New Jersey has to kind of start again, you'd think.
Well, dude, the year they won the...
I mean, Heischer's great.
The year he won the Hart, A, he won the Hart. B, they made the playoffs. Last year he was hurt.
They did not make the playoffs.
They were a carnival.
They have currently $6 million in cap space, but I have a lot of UFAs, like Wayne Simmons is up, and there's some other people. And really, if you look at it, he's making $6 million right now, which is a steal. Oh my God, $6 million.
Really good contract, yeah.
Is Taylor Hall the first person to get paid more than Connor McDavid in the NHL?
Ooh.
And that's not because he's a better player. It's because it's been, next summer, it will have been 3 years since McDavid signed that deal?
I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no.
I don't think he makes more than Connor McDavid.
He'll be 28 years old.
Well, because, Adam, the Oilers can't pay someone more than Connor McDavid.
Oh, you think he's going back to Edmonton?
It'd be too good.
It'd be great.
It'd be really,
How would they get him?
really
Other
good.
than-
Adam Larson puts it on net. Taylor Hall tips it home. That's it. It's over. The Edmonton Oilers have won the Stanley Cup.
That would be great.
It'd be too good. Yeah, McDavid, no assist on the goal.
Peter
None.
Chiarelli runs under the ice. See, I told you.
Yeah, does he get a ring?
No, he does not get a ring.
Does he get a ring?
No. Nico Heischer's extension kicks in next year, $7.25 million. You've still got Palmieri, you've still got Gusev, noted defenseman. You've got Travis Zajac for one more year. So it might be hard to afford him at that number, but I think it'd be hard for any team to afford him at that number.
Well, and they're not afraid to make a deal.
No, as you know, but then you've got Andy Green and Sammy Vatanen both coming off the books. That's $9 million next year. So they've got a lot of potential. Well, I don't know what's going to happen
Damon
here.
Severson was on the block pretty much all of last year.
Yeah, but now they like him.
Now they like
And
him.
the reason they like him is because Tyler Dello's there.
Well, maybe.
I think there were people within that organization that really liked Severson last year, but I think that, what was it? He's got the Jake Gardner.
A little bit.
Yeah, where it's like he's good until, whoa, what was that?
And they do need a goalie.
Sure, they need a goalie.
They need
so
a
what
goalie.
do?
Get a goalie.
Well, you've got Corey
with
Schneider.
regard to Taylor Hall?
Yeah, you got Corey Schneider, who still makes $6 million a year for the next 2 years. I think Corey Schneider hits Robidas Island.
I think Darren Ferris finally gets his wish, and he has a client who makes more than Austin Matthews. Man, if you're Edmonton, the conversation has to begin in double digits.
You can't bring.
Did I say Edmonton?
Yeah.
If you're New Jersey,
You did say
the
Edmonton.
conversation's got to begin
It's like
in double
11
digits.
or $12 million.
Yeah.
This guy won a Hart Trophy.
Yeah, but you don't start there. If you're New Jersey...
He does.
No, he does, of course,
And
but
he
you
goes,
can't.
okay, Austin is making this, Mitch is making this, and you would use those as guys as comparables. And I'm a guy that's won a Hart for you.
I bet New Jersey starts at... You know what number they start at? Jeff Skinner. Which
9?
I want to say it's 9 or 9.5.
Good luck.
And Darren has himself a good laugh.
Calls up Darren Dreger.
He laughs
No,
5
sorry.
minutes. Well, he probably does that. He laughs for 5 minutes before hanging up.
Oh, okay, all right.
Then he hangs up. Then he's got another 20 minutes or so. Probably calls up some friends, whoever they are. Continues laughing. Gets something to eat. Keeps laughing. Then calls back 2 days later.
Laughing.
Nothing. Yeah.
And says 13.
I think Taylor Hall becomes the first player to make more than Connor McDavid.
You might be right.
When we're sitting here next year, a lot older, a lot more grays, is Taylor Hall the highest paid player in the NHL?
You know what? About Taylor Hall, he needs to have a better season to deserve that. Doesn't he have? Isn't he sitting on 2 goals? Score some goals. Okay, you won the Hart. Great. Like, what have you done for me lately? Okay, you were hurt last year.
I
Fine.
feel like it's like a Bryce Harper situation. It doesn't even really matter how Taylor Hall does this year.
He's
gonna
already
make an
guaranteed
obscene
it.
amount of money next year.
Man, how'd that work out for Bryce?
He's a still
Doesn't
point
matter.
per game. It's 2 goals, 11 assists, 13
Okay.
games, 13 points. Yeah.
There's lots of point per game players in this league.
And you're talking about a
know?
bottom feeder too. Also, I want to say,
And he's a winner.
Bryce Harper is still going to make $300 million. Yes, the Nationals won the championship, but Bryce Harper will still make $300 million. Both
can buy
sides
the
got what they
Nationals.
wanted.
Yeah.
That's true.
He could buy the
at
Nationals.
some point.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's a good point.
no, Taylor Hall, he's got to be better to deserve that. He's got to have a better season than even Artemi Panarin had last year. I was a little bit surprised Panarin wasn't. He didn't top McDavid, which would have been
Really?
something.
I
It's
think
just-
he could have,
As a
or
UFA,
at least
right?
close to.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think he got closer. If he'd signed with the Islanders, he would have been closer.
Yeah, I think he had
took
higher
less money.
offers. Tavarius had higher offers.
Yeah, he had $13 million from San Jose.
Tavares could be the highest
So
paid
how
player
could
in the
Taylor
league
Hall
right
not
now.
be?
I think a lot of players have some sense that being the highest paid player in the league isn't necessarily to your advantage in all situations. However, sometimes people give you advice, you know, how people give you advice, and they might say, actually, you should be the highest paid. Now, I don't know who those people are, but sometimes those people give you that advice.
I would say that screw the pressure, man. Get the check. Secure the bag. What are you doing?
Yeah.
No, the pressure. Oh, my God. I signed this deal, and I had to sign a $20 million signing bonus.
I don't think he's going to be sad when he sees his paycheck.
No.
Nah. And any team that signs him, I bet they're paying most of that up front. I bet it's all in signing bonuses, too.
Oh, yeah. Get it in while you can. That's another thing for Hall, because they are changing that the moment they can.
That's stupid, by the way. They shouldn't change that.
Any way they can prevent players from getting money, they'll do it.
Yeah.
The players should fight for that one.
Doesn't it screw up escrow something fierce?
Then the
that's why
players
they're
should be
mad at the
all
Leafs?
for holding on to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, Taylor Hall, very, very interesting. We'll see what comes of it, because I know if I know the agent in question, we'll hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll know exactly how it goes. And by the way, it's going to be controversial.
This will not be a quiet saga.
No, it will not. Let's do the press conference.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have another episode of SDP Trivia.
Hey. Here's the notepad. Oh,
Yeah,
my God, that was almost
If you could each grab a piece of paper, if you could each grab a pencil writing device.
Do you have a writing device? You know what? I could just write it on my phone.
No, I don't trust you.
Okay.
Grab pen and paper. Steve can give you paper. I can give you a pen.
All right. I
Steve,
got a
do you
pen here, but we need...
Steve, do you have a pen?
Steve needs a
I
pen.
need a writing device. Oh, what a guy. Thank you.
My, what a guy.
Gaston.
Today's trivia
Great song.
is via our good friend, listener of the show, @_the K9_ on Twitter.
So it's a dog.
His name is also Smart Insider Fan.
Ah.
That's very funny. So thank you for sliding into my DMs and sending me this trivia. We have Leafs all-time trivia.
Oh, dear.
You guys should both be fairly good at this.
Should
10
and will.
questions.
Very different.
Most correct answers wins.
Okay.
First, points in one season. All-time leader.
I got this.
Just need the name.
I got this.
Steve's got Gilmore. Adam's got
Gilmore.
Dougie Gilmore. 1-1.
It's my boy.
Question 2. Goals in one season. What you got? Oh, Adam wrote that fast. Oh, Steve's got Rick Vive. Adam's got Rick Vive. 2-2.
Hey.
Look at that.
This guy.
This
Good
guy.
start.
You know.
Good start.
Look at us.
This one. Hey, look at us. Who would have thought?
All
Not
right.
me.
We're getting a little. Hey.
That meme makes me want to hug Paul Rudd
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the best.
and give him a little kiss on the cheek.
He's like 50, eh?
Imagine
Yeah,
being
he
friends
just
with
turned
Paul
50.
Rudd.
What's that?
Imagine being friends with him.
It'd be the best.
Ugh.
Wouldn't it be?
Oh.
I want to hang out with Paul Rudd.
New Netflix show that he was on promoting.
That's the one.
Was
That's
it
where
bad?
that meme is from, I believe, isn't it?
No, it's from the his appearance on Hot Ones, where he's promoting the Netflix show. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, look at us. The way, hey. And I'm like, what, Paul? God, I want to be his friend. All right.
Is the new show not good?
It's okay. Yeah, I've only seen like 3 episodes, but I was like, it's all right.
All right.
It's not the best.
Hey, look at us.
All right, let's
Stop
do
it.
this.
Number 3, we're getting a little tougher. Goals in one season by a defenseman. Who leads the Leafs all time?
I think it's a weird answer, actually.
It's going to be a weird one, and I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to guess.
Steve, you're going to cross out
Leafs have
your
not
answer?
had great defensemen in their history.
No,
They've
no,
had a few,
no.
but not great.
Oh,
Here's a hint.
I'm stupid.
It's not Morgan Riley.
I didn't think so.
He had 20, so this guy had more than 20.
No. Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, wait
I
a
got
sec.
it. I think I got it.
Okay.
Oh, Steve?
Ooh.
Who does
I
he
have
say?
Frady?
Yeah, but I crossed out McCabe.
Butch Goring?
No, both of you are incorrect. Ian Turnbull.
Oh,
Yeah.
he scored 5 goals in a game.
Know that.
Yeah,
Know
yeah.
that. Sorry.
You guys, oof. You'll get there. All right, shorthanded goals.
I was going to put Randy Carlyle, by the way. Shorthanded goals?
In a season. He had 31.
It's a tie, by the way. The
What?
answer- He had 31. Ian Turnbull
He had 31
No.
shorthanded goals.
This is the next question.
had 31 shorthanded
I
goals.
think that's wrong, Jesse.
Nope.
What year?
Yeah.
I will tell you. Hold on.
That's pre. Yo, you know when that was?
Is that Sprague
That's
Daghon?
that's pre goal ends penalty. That's like this is
maybe.
Like, we're
That's
talking 40s.
pre-depression.
Yeah.
What was the puck made of?
I think our good friend here put down the wrong answer.
I think he did.
think
yeah,
he did, too.
31 shorthanded
Here,
goals.
no, that's impossible.
Anyways, it's still the same guy. The number, I think, is 8, not 31. Maybe he wrote points and stuff. I don't know. But it's still the same guy. Shorthanded goals all time.
Well,
In one season.
In one season. All of these are Leafs all-time trivia.
I don't know.
Ooh, maybe it's shorthanded goals all time for the Leafs. That would make more sense.
that would make a lot more sense.
Shorthanded goals all time for the
How about we
Leafs.
skip the question? Because
All
it
right.
doesn't make a lot of
Yeah.
sense. But what was the answer? Anyway.
Dave Keon.
I had Keon.
Oh, sorry.
Doesn't matter.
It's an unclear question.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Unclear
no.
question. All right.
We don't know what we're asking.
All-time hat tricks. Here we go.
Oh.
Who has the most hat tricks as a Leaf?
All right. Who was Leaf in the 80s? It's going to be someone dumb.
Who has the most
Bet
hat
it's like
tricks?
Vinny Danfus or something stupid like that.
I think you'd be surprised at this answer. He had 18 hat tricks as a Leaf.
There you go.
Steve wrote Sittler. Adam wrote...
Mahovlich.
Ooh. Steve Sittler. Way to go.
Hey,
Hey.
all right.
3-2 for Steven.
All right.
All right, we're moving on. Overtime goals. All time. All-time
Oh, I know this.
Leaf leader
Easy.
in
That's
overtime
easy.
goals.
Easy.
Mr. Matz himself. That's
He's
unbeaten.
like one of the all-time
Yeah.
leaders.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, the Leafs are all time in something.
And then Yager was like, no, you're not.
All right.
I'm gonna play
The
till I'm 86.
active leader, the active leader for consecutive games played. The active leader for consecutive games played. So he's still on the Leafs, still has the record going right now. Who is the active leader for consecutive games played? The all-time record is held by Tim Horton. He has 486 games played in a row. This active Leaf has played currently 211 games in a row. Tim Horton's record was from February 11th, 1961 to February 4th, 1968 for those listening at home and playing along. This player is a player on the Leafs. And he is the active leader.
He's a player on the Leafs.
He's the active leader in consecutive games, and he wears the Toronto Maple Leafs uniform when he plays because he is a player on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Not confident in my answer.
I'm going to say...
211 games. Active leader.
No, that can't be right.
You already wrote it down. You showed me. That's your answer.
All right.
Yeah, but I have 2 scratched out already.
Well, that
All right,
sucks.
fine.
Adam, what's your answer? You got 3 seconds.
Mitch Marner?
Ooh, Adam wrote Mitch Marner.
I thought about Marner.
Steve wrote Morgan Riley. The answer is William Nylander.
Is it? No, because he was
No.
out.
Just like Patrick
By my
Marleau.
own logic, you're right.
Yeah.
He
We
had a
talked about
contract.
this a couple
Yes.
shows ago.
Yeah, that's true.
William Nylander, active leader of
Son of a
consecutive games played. All
Okay.
right, this one's an easy one. Penalty minutes all time.
Oh.
Leafs.
No.
There's two guys.
There's
Yeah.
2 guys, yeah.
I'm picking the goofy era guy, Tiger Williams.
I said Ty Domi.
Ty Domi.
Ah,
Steve got
it
it.
was the goofy era.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, penalty minutes and goals were way up.
It's 5-3 Steve. We got 2 questions left. That means you got to get both of these correct, Adam. Steve, you got to get both of them wrong. Save percentage,
Oh, no.
minimum 500 shots against. All-time leader in save percentage. Now, this is...
this
2
is
guys
tough.
hold this record.
It's tied, right?
It's tied.
You
So
have to get them both?
no, I'm gonna get you get 2 guesses. If you get them both, you get 2 points. If you get one, you get 1
This
point.
career?
This is career save, minimum 500 shots against.
Career with the Leafs?
Career with the Leafs only. You get 2 guesses. For each correct answer is a point.
Okay. Well, the great thing is, the Leafs defense has been bad since the 60s, so that narrows it down to at least 50 years of goalies, which is great. Like always, even in the mid-90s, were top in the league in shots allowed. So, Cujo and Potvin are the guys I'm going with because I know Potvin saved a lot of shit.
And the 90s.
And the 90s were nuts.
I said, although they weren't very good at the end of the 90s, I say Reimer, Anderson.
We just went 0 for 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoa! Is it
I
like
thought Reimer was
Palmatier?
in there for sure.
Is it Mike freaking Palmatier?
It's Jacques Plante.
Right.
And the other goalie who is tied with Jacques Plante with a 925
Shut up.
is Curtis McElhinney. The all-time leader in save
Wow,
percentage
I
for the
love
Leafs.
this. By the
Minimum
way,
500 shots against.
People forget. I know Jacques Plante's a Canadian legend, but he does not get enough love for how well he played here. And there are a lot of people still with Jacques Plante Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys that walk around. The older guys, they still have.
Oh,
them.
yeah?
There's a lot of now that I've mentioned it, you will see it. It's there's a lot of guys from that era that were like that grew up watching Jacques Plante, which is weird, and they also grew up watching Terry Sawchuk as a Leaf.
Terry Sawchuk.
Very weird. Anyway, continue.
You don't think of that at all.
No, not at all.
All right, final question. Adam, you already lost this trivia because it's still 5-3. Who's the all-time leader in shots? Who's taken the most shots on goal as a Toronto Maple Leaf in the history of the franchise?
It's someone who played forever, obviously.
It's definitely not Thomas Kaberle.
No?
Most shots not taken.
Who had the most secondary assists? Thomas Kaberle. I'm going to say, I almost bet that he has. I have no idea. I'm going to go with...
I have a really dumb answer, but I don't know.
It's a bigger name than you'd think. George Armstrong says Steve.
Sittler.
It's Dave Keon.
Oh, I knew it was someone who played for the Leafs forever.
There you go. 5-3, Steve. Congratulations.
Well, they always say to end with a fart.
But
Get your
not the
final-
strongest performance from my friends today. Hopefully we'll do better next
I
time.
think anybody that knows me knows I'm not really a stats guy. Not
that's
very
fair.
good at remembering numbers.
You're good with like older Leaf stuff, though. And
Yeah,
I'm just not.
You're good with
not.
history.
Because I loved history and I loved the Leafs, so of course I studied the history of the Leafs. But I remember, I would have known all this stuff if I was 12. I've forgotten so much over the years. I had DVDs about the Leafs-Habs rivalry.
You had girlfriends in high school?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. You did. I didn't.
No, I had girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
In part of high school.
I think I held hands with a girl once. I think that was it.
The rest of it was StarCraft and hockey stats.
Sounds like a good time.
It was.
Yeah.
I thought.
Hey, listen, thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow night at Regulars Bar downtown Toronto. Yes, it's King Street West. We're super excited to be there.
5:30?
5:30, show up. And we'll be there a little bit earlier, obviously. First come, first serve, obviously. There is... that element exists. Just throwing that out there. And also, so we'll be posting that episode on. So if you don't, even if you can't make it, you can still hear it.
Yep.
And we will also be back on Sunday Live as well.
Pure Later is hiring.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness. Connection complete.